In this Genshin Impact guide, I'm gonna show you how to get thousands of Primogems, millions of Mora, and tons of XP and Ascension materials, all for free using the Serenitea Pot. We're gonna go over how it works, how you can get access to it, and how you'll get the rewards that you personally want. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, first of all, in case you didn't know, what even is the Serenitea Pot and why should you care about it? See, the Serenitea Pot is Genshin's version of a, so to speak, housing system, where you have a little house in a beautiful environment, you can put furniture into the house, you can even invite your fellow characters to join you, and in general, if you like furniture and you like interior design, this is definitely going to be a nice thing for you to do. But even if these kinds of gameplay aspects don't really appeal to you, you should definitely not skip it because you can get tons of free Primogems, Mora, and other very valuable materials out of it without having to engage all too much with it if you don't want to, and that is exactly what we're going to go over today. Have I sparked your interest? Well, good. So first of all, let's talk about how do you even gain access to the Teapot in case you haven't gotten it already. Luckily, this is actually pretty simple. All you have to do is be adventure rank 28 and finish the leeway part of the Archon quest. Meaning as soon as you have the option to visit Inazuma as part of the Archon quest, that means you're far enough into the story that you have access to the Teapot. Once you meet the requirements, all you need to do is go to Leeway and talk to Madam Ping. You can find her here, you see it on screen right now, and she will then have a quest for you called a Teapot to call home. And after it's done, you will have your own little Teapot unlocked. In order to access it, you can either open up your inventory and physically place it in the world to then interact with it, and that will then teleport you to your Teapot realm, or you could also use a shortcut by just opening up the world map and then teleporting to the Teapot that way. Alright, now here we come to a very important point, and that is when you visit your Teapot for the first time, you will have to choose a scene that you want to set for your loadout. This is kind of the background environment that your house will be placed in, and what is very important here is that ideally, as your first scene, you want to pick something that you actually don't like. The reason for that is that as we upgrade our Teapot and as we further progress into the game, we will also naturally unlock all the other scenes. However, that might take some time, and we will probably have to do quite some things that don't look good but are efficient, and that's naturally what you want to do in the scene that you don't like anyway, so you can focus on the beauty of it all in the other scenes as you unlock them later. And just by the way, if you could maybe drop a quick like for the video, that would be absolutely amazing because it helps big time with the YouTube algorithm, and especially for smaller channels like mine, it is a big boost, so cheers so much for your support. But now, let's actually go and get into the nitty-gritty of min-maxing your Teapot, shall we? Now, when you enter the Teapot, you will find Tubby the Teapot Spirit. By talking to her, you can do all sorts of things, from upgrading your Teapot, to designing it, to crafting furnishings and shop for more furnishings that you might want to have. Don't worry, we will get to all of this in the video, but first of all, I need to direct your attention to the two most important factors here. And that would be your Teapot trust rank, as well as the Teapot-specific realm currency, which is the money that you use for all the stuff that is related with the Teapot. As a new player, or someone who just starts interacting with the Teapot, your first priority, the utmost important thing, is to rank up your Teapot trust rank as fast as possible. Think of it as kind of your reputation with the Teapot, kind of like with the Adventurers Guild or all the different regions in Tibet. Now, why is it so important to rank up your Teapot? Well, besides the rewards that you get for the level ups, as you also see in the background, by upgrading the Teapot, you will gain access to more and more features, and especially from rank 8 on, you will have access to a specific Teapot shop where you can buy all those little shinies that you see in the background right here, and that is actually the main thing why you want to use the Teapot in the first place, because you can have all of this for free given that your Teapot rank is high enough. So, let's talk about how to get there. In order to increase your Teapot XP, your trust rank, what you need to do is craft furnishing pieces for the first time. You will see in the list of furnishings that you can craft, there's a little blue symbol over it if you haven't crafted an item of this already. Once you then create that piece one time, that blue icon is going to disappear and you will get a certain amount of trust rank experience for the Teapot. A green item is going to give you 30, a blue one 60, and a purple one 90 XP. So, long story short, in order to level up your teapot as quickly as possible, just craft as many different furnishing pieces as you possibly can. Now, how are you going to do this as efficiently as possible? See, the thing with the teapot is, you can only craft a set amount of furnishing pieces at any given time, and in contrast to what you do at the blacksmith, this actually takes quite a while. So what you want to make sure is that you always preferably craft those that have a higher rarity because they give you more trust rank experience, and you'd rather have them be cooking for 10-20 hours than something that barely gives you anything. Then the next question would be, how do you unlock more different furnishing pieces to get even more experience? This is also pretty simple. You could either talk to Tubby and use your previously mentioned realm currency to buy new blueprints for furnishings. However, I would personally recommend something different, and that would be those green treasure chests. You will find them in Surumi Island, you know, the one in Inazuma with the fog, and all over Sumeru and Fontaine. And the special thing about those chests is, in contrast to all the other treasure chests into that, these will actually contain blueprints for furnishing pieces, so you don't need to buy them from Tubby, you get them by just exploring the world, so you have more stuff to craft in the teapot, and therefore more free teapot experience to gain. And here we come to another very important tip, and please listen up carefully, and that is, because of the fact that you don't need to buy the blueprints from Tubby if you just go out and explore, you will save up realm currency, and I would recommend, especially when you're in the lower ranks of the teapot, take that realm currency and spend it on those vials of adaptable speed. This item can be used to instantly finish crafting a specific furnishing. So by getting your blueprints through exploration and investing your money into the insta-finishing vials, that means you can craft a lot of different furnishing pieces very quickly, giving you tons of experience and therefore rising through the trust ranks really quickly. Now, let's also quickly talk about which different materials you actually need to craft those furnishings, and that is also luckily pretty simple. Most of the time you will need all different types of wood, for some you also need ores, and, especially for the higher grade items, you will probably also need one of 3 colors, either red, blue or yellow, and fabric. Now, with the fabric, you could also buy it from Tubby for realm currency, but I would not recommend to do that. Rather go and collect a lot of silk flowers because you can turn them into fabric, and that should give you enough for a while. As for the dye, you can use all different types of plants to turn them into dye, and if you click the button down here, you can also change the type of plant that you want to use, so in case you have a lot of one thing but not so much of the other, you can swap through and use the one that you actually need. As for the wood, there is a certain feature where you can use iron ore and stuff to turn it into wood, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because, let's be real, if there's one thing in the game that you have a ton of everywhere, then that's different trees that you can simply go and interact with, punch them a couple times with your melee attack, and that way you can get up to 3 wood pieces from any given tree. And the good thing here is, after you've collected wood from 10 different trees, the first one will actually be able to give you wood again, so you can sort of go your rounds and get infinite wood that way. And that goes especially for those types of trees that have fruit hanging on them, because those give you a special type of wood that, unlike all the other woods in the game, there is no specific region where you will find a lot of those trees piled up in one spot, so it's not as easy to precisely farm that. That's why I would say whenever you come by, just punch it, get your 3 woods out of it, and over time, you will build up enough of a stockpile to be good to go. Okay, so much about crafting different furnishings, where to get the blueprint, and how to rank up your trust rank really quickly. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is also very important, would be the realm currency. The money that I previously talked about that you use to purchase all different types of stuff in the teapot. How do you get a lot of it, and how do you get that fast? See, the thing about realm currency is you cannot really earn it. It will automatically build up over time, and then you can talk to Tubby and take whatever she has in the bank for you. The factor that determines how much of this realm currency you make per hour is called adaptable energy. See, the more furnishing pieces you place into your teapot, and the higher the rarity of those furnishing pieces, the more adaptable energy your entire teapot will have. By the way, you can click here and see how much energy you currently have and how much realm currency per hour you make with any given amount of adaptable energy. In order to make as much money per hour as possible, you want to have a lot of furnishing pieces in your teapot, and ideally relatively rare ones, because that will give you more and more energy. So, pretty easy, right? Just build whatever I can and dump it all in there. Well, not so fast. See, the thing is, in every given teapot scene and also in your different rooms in the house, you can only place a certain quote-unquote item load. You will see a little icon with a green, yellow, or red lamp that indicates how much more stuff you can place. And unfortunately, especially the rare ones that give you a lot of adeptal energy take quite some load, so you can't just dump in whatever you have. The most efficient thing to do here would be to place different kinds of pine folding screens. These items have the highest rarity, means they give you the highest amount of adeptal energy, and at the same time, they barely consume any load, so you can put a lot, and I mean a lot of them, down really easily. That is, by the way, also why I said pick a scene that you don't really like, because your whole house is gonna look like a complete dumpster. But again, very important to remember here, just crafting the same item over and over again might help with the adeptal energy that helps you get more money, but it doesn't help you with the trust rank experience that we talked about earlier, because remember, there you need to craft different stuff all just for the first time. So you need to make sure to definitely strike a balance here, which is, by the way, also why I recommended invest your money into those vials of adeptal speed first, because it will help you big time create more furnishings in a short period of time. Another system that I should mention is you can take your characters and put them down in your teapot, and the cool thing with that is that over time you will not only get money, but also you can see it on screen here, there will be this little treasure box thing filling up, and when you click it, you get friendship points with all the characters that you have placed in your teapot. This is a great way to passively over time get your friendship up with characters that you barely use at all, in case you're interested to have a lot of friendship with all your characters. But let's talk about all the important stuff here, like how do you get Hero's Wits and Mora and Mystic Enhancement Ore and all those other materials for free. See, as I said, you can use your realm currency to purchase things in the realm shop with Tubby. And between trust rank 8 and 10, which is, by the way, why you want to have your trust rank maxed out as quickly as possible, you will unlock the option to go into this tab right here and buy upgrade materials like Resin, like Mora, like Hero's Wits for your character, like Mystic Enhancement Ore to upgrade your weapons, and all that good stuff. Once you have your teapot at rank 10 and you have the maximum amount of adeptal energy to get the most amount of money per hour, this is going to be the tab that you're probably going to spend all your realm currency on all the time. But don't be too hasty, there is one important thing to keep track of here, and that is, why all of that might look very juicy, you want to make sure to buy the right things first, because not every item on this list is equally efficient. See, the first thing you want to do every week is buy the resin for 1200 coins. This item can be turned into 60 original resin. The reason why you want to prioritize this one is, if you pay 1200 coins to get 60 original resin, and then use that resin to either go for Mora or for character upgrade materials, all that stuff, you will get a bit more of those items out of that than if you were to spend 1200 coins on those items in the list directly. So, for example, with this resin costing 1200, you would get 60 original resin, which would translate into 12 to 15 Hero's Wits if you go for ley lines, but if you were to buy Hero's Wits directly from coins, you will only get 10. And of course, with all the other items on the list, it's pretty similar, so the first priority is always get the 1200 coins, buy the resin, and use that. And after that, it comes pretty much down to what you actually need. Don't go for anything that you don't need just because it's a bit more efficient. But if we're speaking about efficiency, the best thing to go for, in my opinion, would be the artifact experience materials, and after that, the upgrade materials for your character and weapons like Hero's Wits, Mystic Enhancement Ores, and Mora if you really need it. But building furnishings, earning money, and getting tons of free character experience materials is not the only thing that you can do in the teapot. You can also farm to get tons of different plants and flowers that otherwise you would have to take a lot of time to go out into the world and search for them. Here's how it works. When you look into Tubby's shop, you can buy different types of fields that you can place down in your teapot, in which you can then grow different types of plants. When you go over it in the shop window, you will see which type of plant goes into which type of field, so make sure to pick the right one. Then you can just place down the fields, interact with them, and put seeds into the soil, and after some time those will grow into flowers, so you can harvest them, rinse and repeat. In order to get those seeds, you can either talk to Tubby in the Creatures of the Realm tab and buy the seeds there, However, that is not really efficient because Tubby is very stingy on how many of these you can actually buy per week. So the cleverer choice here would be to use an item called Seed Dispensary, which will give you seeds for a certain plant whenever you go out in the world and pick one of this plant up. Here's how it works. In order to be able to get the Seed Dispensary in the first place, you will have to have Inazuma unlocked and have progressed a little bit into the Inazuma story, because you need to have access to the Inazuma reputation board. Once you have that, you need to increase your reputation in Inazuma to at least level 3, because then you will get a special item with Naku Wheat Seeds. This is actually a quest item, and it enables you to start a quest with the guy who's standing next to that Inazuma quest board, where when you talk to him, it will start a quick quest where at the end you need to go back to Liyue and talk to Madame Ping again, who will then give you the Seed Dispensary as an item. You can then go to your inventory, activate the Seed Dispensary, and when you then pick plants in the overworld, you will also automatically get seeds for those plants that you can use in the Serenitea Pot. Now, which plants you grow here is of course completely up to you, but one of my suggestions would be, if you're still actively crafting furnishing pieces, then definitely go for silk flowers, because those can be turned into fabric, which you will need to build all different types of furnishings. But also, especially when you're leveling up a certain character that needs a specific plant to ascend, for example Xiangling with the curries or Xingqiu with the silk flowers, then of course planting those in your teapot as well will make it that you get more of those plants in a shorter period of time. And finally, and this is probably the most important chapter of the video and something that many players, including me unfortunately, will have slept on for the longest time and probably are still sleeping on, and that is furnishing gift sets. While of course you do get Primogems as you rank up your trust rank, this is not the only way to get free Primogems from the teapot, and also it is by far not the most efficient one. If you want to get tons of Primogems, then furnishing gift sets are the way to go. So let's talk about it. Furnishing sets in the teapot are a mechanic where you can talk to Tubby and buy blueprints for specific sets of furniture. Once you have the blueprint for the set, it will show you which different furniture pieces are all included in the set, and then in order to place down the entire set, you will have to build all those individual furniture pieces first and have them in your inventory, and then you can place all those different items down as one individual pre-arranged set into your world. Why would you do this? Because different characters, if you invite them to your teapot, like different furnishing sets. If you want to know which character likes which furnishing set, you can see it when you hover over here. And when you place down a specific set, and then take the character that likes this set and place that character into the set, you can talk to them, and then as a reward, they will give you 20 Primogems, 20,000 Mora, and some other stuff on the side. And the best thing is, those furnishing sets usually have multiple characters that like them, so you can repeat that whole process with the Mora gaining and the Primogems for multiple characters per furnishing set that you place. The great thing about this is, when new characters are released, it might as well be that they fall into the category of characters that like a certain set that you might already have, so that way when you get the new character, you will again get the Primogems and the Mora from them as a reward. Given enough furnishing sets and characters, you can get so many Primogems, so much Mora and other materials out of this, it's absolutely crazy, and you should start doing this right now. And if you now want to know all other ways to get free Primogems and tons of it, then definitely don't miss out on this guide right here. We see each other, hopefully in the next one, and until then, as always, travel smart.